The last time that I came out here to shoot a video, that water used to be right there. Right there. This bike is still 100% stock. I haven't changed anything because this bike was kind of pricey for me at least. And I believe that if you're gonna pay for something pricey once, you should just pay once, cry once. And I did that on purpose because I didn't want to have to upgrade it. I mean, it comes with everything you need. 12 speed, cranks, dropper, those are all essentials for me at least. The reason why is because it makes climbing and descending a lot easier. Now, some of the other things that I needed also, of course, I wanted brakes. I wanted to be 4 pistons and capable of stopping. These, they meet that. These tires, probably not the best. I mean, when you buy a bike, it's hard to get a tire for your specific area, but they do the job just fine. The only nitpick that I would have is that sometimes when you go through sand, because of how thin they are, they'll want to not bite down, they'll just cave in, you'll lose speed, and you got to put a foot down to stop. It's not the biggest complaint I have about the tire, but that's just the case when you run thinner tires. Mountain bike tires are a little wider, so they can bite down a little more, but sand is very fine, so you won't always get traction on it, so it's something to expect. This fork also, not suspension fork, it is a carbon fork. What that means is that it is vibration dampening. Doesn't mean no vibrations, it just means you feel a lot less. I feel all the teeth chattering when I go down these dry trails, but there's not really much I can do about it now. But overall, it's an okay experience. Is it the best? No. Would it be better on a mountain bike? I mean, yeah, but I'll be honest, on a mountain bike, I'd be pedaling a lot more and not covering the same amount of distance because I don't have that speed that a gravel bike gives you. Also, dropper in action, it doesn't extend very far, but it's enough to help you get on or off the bike too. See? And it works just fine. This bike is all alloy. It's still all stock. I haven't even swapped it over to tubeless because I just don't want to put any money into this bike right now. I kind of want to ride it as is. I think that's kind of what people go into biking, like, that their common misstep is that I need to get a good bike for a very good price, and then I got to dump all this money into upgrades. And if you actually piece it out, you might notice a lot of times that when you spend money on upgrading a bike, you went well over what a better bike would have cost, like right off the rip. Honestly, it's not that big a deal to invest in a small bike and then upgrade as you go along. But if you're gonna build it in a short amount of time, I would just save a little longer to buy the better build. Don't just dump all your money, because you don't always get that money back, not even in the second-hand market. It's really not seller friendly right now, so you might end up getting way less than you wanted for your old bike if you try to sell it. So my advice is always buy the best bike that you can when you can. Overall, the gravel bike feeling, it's different. It's definitely, it's a simpler world than mountain biking in the sense that because this bike is all stock, I don't have to service anything crazy like the forks. There's no lower legs, there's no full rebuild. It's just one standard carbon fork. Honestly, all I got to do is inspect the fork for cracks. I know there's not any now because I haven't fallen on it. Will I fall on it later? Probably. When I start to feel more comfortable and start to experiment with certain things here and there, then I'll start looking more closely at it. Carbon's really strong. It's got a lot of vibration dampening properties, but the second you crack it, it's as good as gone. So it's just something to keep an eye on. It's not going to crack on its own, more than likely. They can handle a lot of abuse. Just watch out for pointy rocks. That's my advice. Other than that, this whole gravel bike thing is pretty fun, honestly. It's in the similar area of mountain biking. I don't have to go as far to gravel bike. I can pretty much just go in my backyard and just start pedaling because there's gravel roads everywhere. I like this area more because this area has a lot more scenery. The trails here are a little rougher, so when you start going down these trails, I'll show you in a video or two maybe, that all those bumps and whatnot, you definitely feel them. Do you feel vibration dampening? Probably, but there's a lot to vibrate on there, as you can see. So since I already went over my thoughts on the bike in the video, I thought I'd share my thoughts on gravel bikes as a whole in post. Now, do I think that this will completely replace my love of mountain biking as a whole? No, I don't. That being said, I know I haven't been out as much, but man, these heat waves have been awful lately, and I got a lot going on right now. Free time is scarce as it is, but it's easy to find a place where a gravel bike can fit in. It's easier to bike around town on a gravel bike. After all, many city roads can quickly switch to gravel roads. For those who live close to their trail, it's a no-brainer. But for other people, like me for instance, the gravel roads, are kind of closer to my house than actual trails. A quick drive down to the trail and I'm almost ready to go. It also fits in perfectly in the kind of trails that I've been showing in this video. Not to say that a hardtail wouldn't work, it just would require more effort on my part. Now for the new few nitpicks, I would say, I had anticipated no issues riding the XR, but I did notice that I was having trouble shifting. Turns out, wasn't doing it right. It's on me. I should have double checked. I should have done it as soon as I was in the parking lot, but I didn't. It wasn't as simple as a mountain bike because the shifter on this one, both up and down, are on the same lever. Another nitpick, again, it's from my lack of experience. And that is that eventually my hands got kind of tired resting on the horns. The trails were very bumpy and it felt like every bump after a certain point was being delivered straight into my palm. It's just one of those things. It's not a real complaint. It's just a nitpick. With all that being said, I do gotta say that I'm happy I got this bike for a multitude of reasons. Of course, there's more expensive bikes and there's even cheaper bikes. And I hear both of them can be good. It depends.
Come on.
This is where I want to be though. It's pretty much checked every box that I think I needed for a bike at a price point that I was okay with. That being said, I will point out that I don't have any desires to do any upgrades at this time. Will I later? Maybe. You never know. It's just, why should I? It's perfectly capable as is. Did I still get a shin strike on a non-mountain bike? That's not important, but yes. For the most part, I can see why you can take a bike like this on an actual mountain bike trail. After today's experience, I can confidently say that I probably won't be doing that myself anytime soon. The lack of an actual suspension kind of robbed me of my confidence as it was. My hands were starting to get sore dealing with all those bumps. The last thing that I wanted to do was go over the bars and knock my noggin. Me, personally, I like having this bike because I feel like it can help you keep you in some sort of riding shape in early morning rides or commutes. You know, the next time it wants to be 115 degrees out on a weekend. I can honestly say that I'm happy with what I got. I feel like I got a good quality bike that's going to last for a good long while. And if it does, I would absolutely say that I got my money's worth. Bikes like these are just so much fun to do trails like these. And lastly, I also want to thank anybody for watching up to this point. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.
No trail is off limits. Okay, only the water is off limits. I would just prefer not to go in the mud if I'm being honest.